After a couple of eventful days in Rome, Italy, I'm making my way up to Switzerland, where I ultimately plan to visit parts of the Swiss Alp Jungfrau region, specifically Lauterbrunnen and Grindelwald. I will land in Zurich and then immediately hop on a train to Bern and then to Interlaken. Interlaken has two stations, West and Ost, which just means east. I'm at Interlaken Ost and I'll be staying here for the night. Lauterbrunnen is only about 30 minutes away, but it's already late and I don't want to make my way up to Lauterbrunnen in the dark. It's the next morning and I stayed at this hostel right next to the station because I really only needed a place to sleep and shower. This place was called Youth Hostel and was very clean and very cheap. I couldn't really show the room because there were others in there, but there were roomy bunks with outlets in each bunk. They did have an included breakfast as well. I have about 15 minutes before the train arrives, so I'm going to quickly go to this grocery store near the station and get some bottled water. Back at the station, this map shows the route that I'm going to take up to Lauterbrunnen. Like I mentioned, it's only about a 30-minute train ride, and the train runs out of Interlaken Ost every 30 minutes. I've now made it to Lauterbrunnen, and I'll be storing my backpack in the lockers at the train station. As a note, these lockers only took smaller coins, so I had to go to a nearby store and ask a cashier to break some Swiss franc for me. I'm glad these lockers were available so that I didn't have to carry my heavy bags around while I was here. Now that I've dropped off my stuff, I'm gonna walk around this charming village nestled in this incredible valley, featuring some of the most amazing waterfalls, pastures, and viewpoints. The first stop is the most famous waterfall in Lauterbrunnen, Staubbach Falls. I'm here in the middle of fall, so there's not a ton of water right now, but it's good enough for me. During the spring and early summer, the water is the heaviest because of the snowmelt. Staubbach Falls is almost 1,000 feet tall, making it one of the highest free-falling waterfalls in Europe. To get to Staubbach Falls, you can walk this small trail up to and behind the falls. This trail is relatively short and provides easy access to stunning views all along the way. The hike from the base to the viewing platform takes approximately 15 to 20 minutes. Eventually, you'll reach this tunnel that takes you through the side of the mountain and then winds up on the cliffside behind the fall. I was feeling quite a bit of spray from the falls, so you can imagine that you may need a rain jacket or poncho when there's a lot more water. After admiring Staubbach Falls for a few minutes from behind, I'll start making my descent back to the floor of the valley. I'm now heading to what is probably the most iconic view of the entire valley, which is about a 10-minute walk away from here. To get there, you first walk through this beautiful cemetery. Continuing towards the viewpoint, I'm passing Kirche Lauterbrunnen, or Lauterbrunnen Church. Honestly, Kirche is the hardest word for me to say in German. I always mix it up with Kirsche, which is cherry. But anyways, this church's distinctive steeple and traditional architecture definitely contribute to the picturesque charm of this alpine village. I'm not yet at the iconic viewpoint, but this is probably one of my favorite spots here in the valley. I'll now cross the street and walk up this small paved hill, and it'll take me to the viewpoint. This bench in front of Chalet Pironnet has become very famous for being a point from which you can enjoy breathtaking panoramic views of the valley. I've seen so many pictures from this spot, and they definitely influenced me further to visit this place. I'm now going to start my walk towards the next point of interest, which is Trümmelbach Falls, which is about a 45-minute walk from here. You can ride a bus, but I have the whole morning here, so I want to just take my time and take it all in on one of the most peaceful walks I've ever taken in my entire life. I did buy 2 of these bells as souvenirs to bring home and put on my dog's collars. I know this is a weird shot, but just so you know, there are porta potties available along the way. I've now arrived at Trümmelbach Falls. From this parking lot, you walk a little bit down this path until you find yourself at the entrance station. Here's a model of the elevator that they have here. It does cost 14 euros to enter. Trümmelbach Falls is a series of impressive waterfalls that have carved their way inside of the mountain. They're accessible via this network of stairs, tunnels, and an elevator. These thundering falls make for an immersive experience. The elevator up is quite steep and honestly a bit scary if you have a fear of caves and/or heights. It isn't necessary to ride the elevator, but it's so much easier than having to climb all the way up this large set of stairs to the top. This footage really just doesn't do this place justice. It's so much bigger and much more impactful in person. I was constantly feeling a little bit scared about dropping my phone into the swift and forceful abyss. I probably spent around half an hour here. After I was done seeing each fall, I started my way back to the main part of the village. Again, I could have taken the bus and saved about 30 minutes, but I decided to just make the return walk because, well, this is easily one of the most beautiful places that God has put on this earth. I eventually arrived back to the train station where I'll board my train over to the neighboring town of Grindelwald. On my way to Grindelwald, I have to get off the train at Zweiluchinen station to get to the train to Grindelwald. If you are going to Grindelwald, you have to make sure that you get on the correct train car here because the train will split into two, one half heading towards Grindelwald and the other half heading elsewhere, I believe back towards Interlaken, but I might be wrong. Be sure to stay tuned to the next video where I visit Grindelwald.